Alrighty, I don't know if we're quite live yet. We're gonna make sure everything's working properly. It looks like everything's looking good. Um, so yeah, I think. Oh wow, that's gonna beep every hour. I apologize for that. Let's get the word out on social media. Snapchat, boom, they know. Instagram, boom, they know. Alrighty, I think we're good. I think we're live. So what is up, everybody? How's it going? Hope y'all are all doing well. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jake, and today we are going to be doing something pretty fun here on the live stream. It's something I haven't done for 2 years, but I'm going to be doing a Blu-ray collection live stream. Now, the last one of these DVD Blu-ray collection videos that I did, it was about 2 years ago. It was June of 2018, and so I have gotten a lot of Blu-rays and 4Ks and DVDs since that last video, and so I wanted to make kind of an update, kind of just talking about all the stuff that I have, because I think I really enjoy a lot of this stuff. And I'm a big advocate of physical media. I think being able to tangibly support a film that I love and appreciate, I think is a really cool way to show my appreciation for a film. And so we're gonna be jumping in pretty soon with just all of the different Blu-rays, DVDs, and 4Ks that I own. If you want to watch at any point the original one that I did, which is just 50 DVDs, you can click down in the description below. It should be the first link down there. It's about 20 minutes long, and this is going to be much longer than 20 minutes. So we'll see how that goes. Another thing to keep in mind is we do have a live chat going on, and so if you want to say, comment, ask anything at any point throughout this live stream, I would love to interact with you. It'd be really boring if it was just me talking about the Blu-rays and not interacting with anybody. So if at any point you want to chime in, just say something, ask for my thoughts on something, feel free to chime in. I've got the chat pulled up so I can look at it in real time and watch it and see what people are saying. And so yeah, I think that is about all. Oh, also this piece of paper. This is called the Replacement Campaign, and this is a list of all. Wow, I dropped that. This is going great. This is a master list of all of the DVDs that I have that I need to replace with either Blu-rays or 4Ks. And as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of them crossed out, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it, and it's my ultimate goal within a couple of years to have all of the DVDs gone and have replaced them all with Blu-rays or 4Ks. And so that is my goal tonight, or not tonight. That's my goal just in general with the Blu-rays and the 4Ks. So I think that is all of the formalities. Jaden, what's up, man? Good to see you in the chat. But yeah, I think that's all the formalities. Let's get kicking. Let's get right into it. So 10 Cloverfield Lane. This is, I think, a really great action thriller. This is actually a sequel to Cloverfield, which I do not own, unfortunately, which is also really good. But this is a very controlled film. It's very small. It takes place mainly in one building with only 3 characters, and so it's very different from your standard thrillers, but I think it is very suspenseful. I think it just creates tension really, really well, and so it's definitely worth checking out. I think, yeah, you'll hear me say that a lot, that I think it's worth checking out, but yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Here, I'm gonna, actually, this is gonna be fun to do live. I tried to do this. I tried to film this video on 4 different occasions over the past couple of years, and nothing has worked out. Something has always gone wrong with the filming of it, and so that's why I ultimately decided to do a live stream. Okay, I think that's good for now. Actually, let's grab a few more and just go ahead and shift them over there. Yeah, this is going to be great. I can already tell. Have a whole bookshelf that we got to go through. And so I'm going to try and spend as little time on these as possible because there's so many of them. But what can you do? Alrighty, 12 Angry Men. This is the Criterion Collection Blu-ray. This is my favorite movie of all time. And so this is one of my favorite Blu-rays that I own. Not only because it's my favorite movie, but I think the art is really, really nice. And I think the Criterion Collection is just awesome. I think they put some really cool resources in there. I think they put some really nice features in there with really, really great quality. It's people that really care about the presentation of each film that's in the collection. And so I have a few other Criterion Collection films, and we will get to those as we get there. But this one in particular comes with a little mini booklet, and it talks about the film in general, and it talks about the director Sidney Lumet. And so I think it's pretty cool. And 12 Angry Men is, like I said, my favorite movie of all time. And so if you have not seen it, it is on Amazon Prime. You have no excuse. Just get a free trial and watch it. It's so good. 1917. This is my favorite movie from last year. I think this is just an excellent war film. I think the technical aspects of this thing are really what make this stand out, particularly the cinematography. That is just mind-blowing. It's just awesome. And the visual effects are really nice too. There isn't a whole lot of like big pop flashy visual effects. It's a lot more subtle and it's a lot more invisible, but I really appreciate the filmmaking behind it. So yeah, 1917 I think is a great film. The Adventures of Tintin. This is one from Steven Spielberg that I think gets a little bit overlooked. It's a great animated film. I think it appeals really great to kids. I think it appeals really great to adults at the same time. It's just a fun adventure movie, kind of in lieu of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, which I really appreciate. And it's Steven Spielberg, so it's the same guy. But yeah, Adventures of Tintin. I think this is a really fun time. And this one's on Netflix if you have not seen it. I think it's worth checking out. Alien. This is one of the greatest horror movies of all time, in my opinion. I bought this used, and so it's got a little peel on the wrapping on the outside. But this is a fantastic film. I don't need to say much about it because there's nothing really that I can add to the table. But Alien, just an incredible film. Ant-Man. This is one that I bought like a couple of days within this coming out. I got the Blu-ray 3D combo pack, if you can see it, because this was the only one, the only Blu-ray set when this came out that had both the digital copy and the Blu-ray. They had a Blu-ray by itself, and then they had the DVD, but I wanted the Blu-ray and the digital copy, and this is the only one that had the digital copy besides like the 4K, and so I got this one, and I don't regret it. I like the art a lot. And yeah, I think it's really, really cool. So Ant-Man, I think it's a great film. Apollo 11, this is a great documentary from last year. You can check this one out on Hulu. I think it's really, really good. And I think the thing that this film does the best is that it doesn't use like modern day interviews or footage or anything like that. It relies solely on what was recorded over the course of the Apollo 11 mission, and it creates this a much more electric and I guess investing film that it feels like it's just telling the story of Apollo 11, and I really appreciate that. So Apollo 11, a great documentary. Arrival, this is a great sci-fi film from Denis Villeneuve. He is one of the best working directors out there, I think, by far. I think Amy Adams gives an incredible performance here. Jeremy Renner does a great job. The visual effects and I think the story here is just they're just incredible. The ending is absolutely mind-blowing and is so emotional and really sticks with you long after you watch it. And so Arrival is a big recommend for me. I don't know if it's on any streaming services. If it's not, then seek it out because it's really good. Alrighty, next up we have the Avengers. Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. I don't have Age of Ultron. We have a lot of Marvel movies as a family. We own them as a family, have a lot of the DVDs, but there are some that I have just for myself, and so the ones that I have are obviously the ones that I have for myself. The first, the Avengers, this was, I think, with the Infinity War re-release. I got this used, so I didn't get the digital copy that came with it, but I really, really love the first Avengers movie. I saw this when it was out in theaters when I was like 12 years old, and so I have a lot of fond memories watching this movie. I've seen it dozens of times, and it never gets old for me. So the first Avengers film. Then jumping to Infinity War, I actually had this on DVD for a while, and just recently actually got a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player. And so I've been getting a lot of 4Ks recently, and Infinity War was like first on my list to upgrade to 4K. And this thing is beautiful in 4K. It is just awesome picture quality. And Infinity War, I think, is just an outstanding film. It had a lot to establish and to go through, and I think it did it really, really well. I think it executed it pretty well. And then I have Avengers Endgame. This is the 4K Best Buy Steelbook. And I got this one like the day it came out. I don't like the art as much as the regular 4K, but I love steelbooks. I'm a huge fan of them, and you'll see plenty of steelbooks later on throughout this video or this stream. But Endgame also looks beautiful in 4K, and I do like the art with the heroes that survived in the snap, and then the heroes that got dusted. But I love Endgame. I think it's awesome. It's not perfect, but it's amazing. So those are the Avengers films that I own. Whoops, that almost fell. That'd be really bad. Baby Driver is another one that I only had on DVD, and it recently upgraded to 4K because it was really cheap at Walmart. I think it was really fun. Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors working right now. All of his films have impressed me, and they're all super, super fun. And Baby Driver is no exception. I think this is just an excellently made heist film, an excellent thriller, lots of great action and stunts and car chases. It's super cool with some of the best editing I've ever seen in a film, and a killer soundtrack. So check this one out if you love action movies. You got to get on this. You got to get on that one. Back to the Future. This is a steelbook of the entire trilogy. Actually, it comes with all three. Got this at Walmart a couple years ago, and Back to the Future is one of my favorite trilogies. I love all three of these movies so much. The first one is obviously the best, but I think the second one and third one don't get enough credit. I think they're both super fun. I think they both extend the story. They don't feel like they're add-ons. It feels like a necessary addition to the story, if that makes sense. So Back to the Future, some of my favorites. Barton Fink. This is actually one of the few films in my collection I have not seen before. It's from the Coen brothers, a couple of my favorite directors of all time. And it's what I've been meaning to watch for a while, but just never have. So I'll get on that at some point. But Barton Fink. Batman 1989. I found this for like $4 at Best Buy, and it was a really, really great deal. I love Jack Nicholson's Joker. I love Michael Keaton's Batman. And this is just a lot of fun. I think this is just a fantastic Batman film. It's not perfect. It's not like the Dark Knight trilogy by any means, but it's Batman. It's a lot of fun. It's Batman. What more could you say? Alright, these are three of my favorite Blu-rays that I own. This is the Dark Knight trilogy on Blu-ray Steelbook. First off, I think the art for all three of these are some of the best steelbook art you could possibly have. First off, Batman Begins. I really like. This is just the regular poster for it, and then the back is a nice little shot of Batman. But I really enjoy Batman Begins. I don't think it quite lives up to the other two, but I think Batman Begins is a great origin story. Really sets up a lot of the elements of Bruce Wayne's character that really come to fruition, especially in The Dark Knight Rises. I think it's just a really great character study on Batman. So, yeah, Batman Begins. And then We have The Dark Knight. I love the shot of the Bat Pod, and on the back it has the Joker, which I love. This is one of the best comic book movies of all time. I don't need to say that because it's pretty much just fact at this point. But I love this movie. And what's cool about these two in particular, and also The Dark Knight Rises, this is like my favorite poster of all time. The poster of the broken cow like this, and then Bane's walking in the background. This is legitimately my favorite poster of all time. But what's cool about these two in particular is that it keeps the IMAX aspect ratios for a lot of the establishing shots and a lot of the action scenes. And so when you're watching it, it'll be in the normal like 239, 240 cinematic aspect ratio with the black bars on the top and the bottom. And then for the action scenes, it'll expand it, and so you'll get the full picture. So if you watch it on a TV, you'll get the black bars during a lot of the slower moments, just the dialogue moments. And then during the action scenes, it'll expand to the full screen, so it feels a lot more epic. And both copies of this, both The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises on these Blu-ray steelbooks, use that very well. So that is the Dark Knight trilogy. Beetlejuice. This is another Blu-ray steelbook that I have. This was like $11 at Walmart, and this was too good of a deal to pass up. I think this is a really, really fun film. It's creepy, and it's weird and crazy, but I love it, and I have a lot of fun with it. The Big Sick. I think this is a great romantic comedy from Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you can check this one out. It is an Amazon original. I think it's different than most romantic comedies. I'm usually not a big romantic comedy guy. But I think this has some really, just some really great character work, some really great writing. And it's a really heartfelt, emotional story, but it's also really funny. So I greatly enjoy The Big Sick. Even if you're not a fan of romantic comedies, I recommend you check this one out. Birdman is one that I really need to update to Blu-ray, but this is the 2015 Best Picture winner. I think this is great. I think this utilizes the one take style really, really well. I think it's a really interesting story. I think it's funny. I think it's really, really well written. And has some really great performances. So, Birdman. Black Panther. This is one that I picked up, I think, 2018 for Black Friday. That's what it's called. I was trying to say Black Panther. But no, I picked this one up for Black Friday. This was like $7 at Best Buy. I really enjoy Black Panther. I think the world building is excellent. I think the soundtrack is awesome. And I think just what it adds to the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really, really cool. So Black Panther. Blade Runner, and then Blade Runner 2049. That might actually be backwards. Here we go. I think this is better. I might be holding these wrong. Like, I have no idea. Hold on, let me look actually. Let me make sure. I just want to make sure I'm holding these in the right order. Shoot, I'm not. Okay. And it's all of the writing's backwards, so that's great. But yeah, we have Blade Runner and then Blade Runner 2049. I really enjoyed these films. I think Blade Runner is a really thought-provoking sci-fi film. And the final cut is the version that I have. That's the only one that I've seen. It's the one that everybody tells me that is the only one I should watch, and so it's the only one that I have. I think it's pretty slow at times, but I think is really thought-provoking, and brings up some interesting themes about humanity. And then Blade Runner 2049 is a great continuation of that. I think it just does an excellent job of just continuing what the first one did, with some beautiful cinematography and visual effects that really help flesh out this world a little bit more. So, Blade Runner. I'm going to see real quick if there's a way to flip the camera. Let me see if that does it. Did that do it? I don't know. I don't know if that did it. Oh well, I think we'll be fine either way. Alright, Get some water real quick. Stay hydrated. By the way, if you're not staying hydrated, stay hydrated because late August, it gets hot. All right. Moving right along. We're almost done with the first row. Blues Brothers. This is one that I picked up on 4K recently. It was only $10. So, oh, that was awesome. But Blues Brothers is a lot of fun. I have not watched this in the 4K yet, and so I don't know if the picture quality is an improvement. But I do know that Blues Brothers is a dang fun movie. It's really, really fun. So, Blues Brothers. The Bourne Ultimatum. Now we have Bourne Identity and Bourne Supremacy, I believe, downstairs with my family, as well as the Bourne Legacy. Bourne Ultimatum on 4K is something that my brother got me for Christmas one year, and so I keep this with me. I think this is the best Bourne film. I just almost called this a foreign film. I think this is the best Bourne film out there. I think it just wraps up Jason Bourne's story really, really well. I don't think that Jason Bourne movie from 2016 was necessary at all. I think this gave us everything that we needed to know about Bourne. I think this wrapped up his story perfectly, and it's just a dang good action film. So, Bourne Ultimatum. Brawl in Cell Block 99. This is, I think, the most violent, most gruesome film that I've ever seen, because this has things that would make like John Wick 3 cower in fear with how graphic it is. But it is, if you are a fan of like bloody, gruesome action, kind of like I am, I think it's definitely worth watching, just because of how far this thing goes. But it is not for the faint of heart. So take caution before watching Brawl in Cell Block 99. Sorry about that. Breakfast Club. This is another Best Buy Steelbook. I really like the art on this. It kind of like grates it, kind of like a locker actually is. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, this was just really nice art. I had it on DVD and upgraded it to Blu-ray. And so I really love Breakfast Club. It's a classic. I don't really need to say anything else. Bumblebee. I'm a fan of Transformers as a whole. I know. I'm sorry. I don't like most of the movies. I think the first movie is excellent. And I think everything else sucks except for Bumblebee. I think Bumblebee was a really nice kind of spin-off, kind of fresh start for the Transformers. We actually get to see some of the Battle of Cybertron. So that's pretty fun. I might actually watch this tonight. I think I'm going to. So I'm just going to toss this on my couch because I'm going to watch that later. But yeah, Bumblebee, I think is a great film. Burn After Reading. This is another great one from the Coen brothers that I don't think gets enough credit. I think this is a really funny film. I think Brad Pitt is just hysterical in this film. George Clooney, John Malkovich, Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton. I was thinking Frances McDormand, but also Tilda Swinton. I think they do a great job in this film. Everybody is just really funny, and it's a kind of basic story, but I think the comedy works really, really well for this film. So, Burn After Reading, pretty fun. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. This is a classic Western that I just watched for the first time recently. I was a huge fan of it. I think the camaraderie between Paul Newman and Robert Redford is just excellent. Their chemistry is just vibrant. Probably some of the best chemistry I've ever seen in a film. So if you're a fan of Westerns, if you're a fan of action, if you're a fan of just two buddies going through life, this is a film for you. Chronicle. This is a really great superhero movie from Josh Trank, who did Four Stick, but I think this is a great film from him. This comes with a director's cut, which how much longer is it? Director's cut is... How much longer is the director's cut? I can't find it. Oh, well. I don't know. But anyways, it comes with the director's cut. It's a little bit longer, which that's the version I believe I watched. I think it's maybe 15 minutes longer. I don't know. I'm going to stop looking because this is getting kind of boring. But yes, Chronicle, I think, is a really great film. It's found footage film, and so it relies on like an actual camera that is held by the characters, and I think that's a really, really interesting concept to use this, but I think this film utilizes it really, really well. Sorry, wow, something in my throat. All right, Citizen Kane. This is regarded by many to be the greatest film of all time. I am not in that, but I think this is a great film, and you cannot knock the impact that this film made. And so I got it just because it was something to have for the collection, to symbolize what it meant in film history. And I think it's a genuinely great movie. Let me get some more water. I'm really thirsty. That's why I have 3 water bottles. Alrighty, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is a thick boy one. This is the 30th anniversary Ultimate Edition. This one is really, really cool. I got this used at a used video store, but it's really, really cool. First off, it's a great film. It's a great alien invasion film from Steven Spielberg. It doesn't have as much of like the Spielberg magic that you would expect, but I think it's a great film, and it comes with this little collector's book that just kind of goes through like the pictures and stuff and some of the different aspects of it, and so it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little thing to have. So Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Collateral. I think this is a great action thriller from Michael Mann. Yes, Michael Mann. With Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx. I think they both do a great job. Tom Cruise especially. I think this is one of his best roles, honestly. It's pretty standard in plot and in execution, but it works nonetheless. And so if you're a fan of action thrillers, check this one out. Collateral. Cool Hand Luke. This is, I think, a great film. I tend to wait a long time in watching a lot of the classics, and then this is one that my film teacher my senior year of high school pointed out, and I had never heard of it beforehand. And I watched it on his recommendation, and I absolutely loved this thing. I think Paul Newman is just so charismatic in this film. I love his character so much, and it's just a lot of fun. And so, Cool Hand Luke, pretty fun film. Creed. This is one that I'm kind of embarrassed to only have on DVD, but Creed, I think, is a great continuation of the Rocky saga. Michael B. Jordan is excellent in it. Sylvester Stallone, I think, gives his best performance as Rocky in a Rocky film. So, Creed, excellent film. Alrighty, we just finished up with the first row, so I'm going to move these back on the shelf and then get the next wave from the next shelf down. If you have any questions now, it'd be a grand old time. If you have any comments, anything like that. I guess a current event thing I could briefly discuss with Batman. Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman for the Flash film, with like the Justice League movie Flash, and so that's pretty interesting, I think, because they also are going to have Michael Keaton's Batman in it as well. And so that'll be an interesting dynamic to explore between, because I know it's supposed to be a Flashpoint film, and so there's a lot that they can do with that. And so I am definitely very excited to see what they're going to do with Batman in the Flash film. I almost dropped all those, and that would have been extremely sad. Alrighty, here we go. Don't fall. Okay, we are good. Alrighty, let's jump into the second row of 4. So, we're nearly halfway there, honestly. Alrighty, Deadpool and Deadpool 2. I'm a big fan of Deadpool as a character. I think he's a lot of fun. I think his skill set is awesome. I think his comedy is really funny. I love these movies. I think they bring them to life really, really well. I especially love the slip art with the unicorn. I think it's a lot of fun. And then this one, the Blu-ray comes with the super duper cut, and it changes out a lot of just like the one-liner jokes and adds about 15 minutes of footage. It's worth watching, especially for the new jokes. I don't think they work as well as the theatrical cut, the normal cut, but I love both of these films. I think they're a lot of fun. Honestly, I can't really pick between the two because this one is simpler and not as complex, but it works. But this one can get a little bit messier, but I think it explores a lot of deeper themes with Deadpool, and I think that's where this film kind of edges it out a little bit more. And so I can't really pick between the two because I genuinely love them both. But Deadpool and Deadpool 2. Deepwater Horizon is a great disaster film based off of the true events of Deepwater Horizon. Oh, that fell. We'll be okay. But this is really, really well made. I just watched this on accident. I went over to my friend's house, and their family had just started this movie, and I just joined them in watching it, and it was really, really good. So I think this is worth checking out. It's very suspenseful, but I think it's important. I think it's a good film to watch. I might actually watch this instead. I don't know. I'm just gonna put movies that I want to watch over in that pool over there, and we'll see what happens. Alrighty, The Departed. This is one of my favorite Scorsese films. Scorsese is my personal favorite director of all time. I'm still working through a lot of his not as known films, but I think The Departed is one of his best. I think everybody in this film is excellent, especially Jack Nicholson, because Jack Nicholson's my favorite actor of all time. But this thing is just awesome. It is just so much fun. It is so well made, and I'm so happy that this is what got Scorsese his Oscar, because boy do I love The Departed. Die Hard. This is one of my all-time favorite movies and one of my favorite Blu-rays that I own. This is the Steelbook from Best Buy, the 30th anniversary. It has that nice cover art, especially with the broken glass. I really like that. It's a cool touch. And then it comes with the lighter on the back. But Die Hard is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it is the greatest straight-up action film of all time. And it's my favorite Christmas movie of all time by default. And what's also awesome about Die Hard is that it's not limited to just Christmas time. Is that this is a year-round film. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Die Hard. By the way, just to throw out there, again, if you have any questions, comments, want to say anything at all, talk about a current event in film, feel free to drop it down in the chat below. I would love to interact with you. I don't want anybody on here to just be doing nothing on here and just watching me. I want to interact. I want to have some fun. So feel free to put that down there if you want to. The Disaster Artist. I'm a huge fan of The Room. I actually got to meet Tommy Wiseau. I'll pull up a picture of that real quick. But I am a huge fan of The Room. I think it is just so much fun to watch despite how bad it is. I think The Disaster Artist was a really great film, kind of depicting how that film got made, who Tommy Wiseau is as a person, because he is one strange dude, let me tell you that. But this is the picture that we took together. I don't know if you can see that, but that is the picture we took together. You can find that on my Instagram. And by the way, all my social media links are down in the description, but you can find that picture in better quality on Instagram. But The Disaster Artist, I think, is just a great film about how that film got made. And if you're a fan of The Room, first off, you don't have to have watched The Room to watch The Disaster Artist. I think you can appreciate it either way. But I would recommend watching The Room first and then watching The Disaster Artist, just so you understand where this film is coming from. But The Disaster Artist, I think, is a great film. Ooh, wow. Okay. District 9, I think, is a great kind of documentary style film. It's very, very unique. It touches on a lot of social issues, which is interesting for a sci-fi film, but I think this film does it pretty well. And it has a really nice story behind it. So, District 9, worth checking out. It's on Netflix, actually. So, check it out. Alrighty, Django Unchained. This is a great film from Quentin Tarantino. This thing's a little long, but man, this is a powerful film. If you have not seen this, I highly recommend you do. This one is also on Netflix. I don't want to say too much about it because this is just something that you need to experience. I think everybody should watch this at some point. I think it is a really, really powerful film. Alrighty, Doctor Strange. This is actually one of my favorite MCU films. I think the visual effects are just absolutely stunning. I think that it's just a really great origin story for Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is one of my favorite heroes in the MCU, and I think this film is excellent. So not a whole lot, honestly, to say on this one, just because it's been out for 4 years now, and so not a whole lot to add to the table with Doctor Strange, but I am a big fan of Doctor Strange. Alrighty, Dunkirk. This is one that I definitely need to get on Blu-ray or 4K even. But I think this is a really great film from Christopher Nolan. This one utilizes editing pretty well. It's not my favorite of his, just because I don't know. It's just not my favorite of his. It feels a little bit more straightforward. Which, I mean, especially with Christopher Nolan, I usually expect a little bit more, especially with stuff like Inception and Interstellar and Tenet coming up, which I'm so excited for. But I'm a fan of Dunkirk. I think it's a great film, just not his best. But that's just me. Drive. This is a great action thriller from Ryan Gosling. I think it's really suspenseful. I haven't watched this movie in a while, actually. I need to rewatch it. But with some great action and it's a lot of suspense. That's what I'll say on Drive. Dread. I think this is a great superhero film. I think this brings Judge Dredd to life really, really well. I think this is a great reboot, a great upgrade from the Sylvester Stallone version from, I think, the 90s is when that one came out. I think this one is fantastic. It is pretty simple, but it explores the crime side of Judge Dredd's world really, really well and in a really, really fascinating way. So Dredd, I think, is awesome. Has some great action sequences as well that are worth checking out. Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. This is my favorite Stanley Kubrick film. I haven't seen too many. But this is the Criterion Collection Blu-ray. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love the art. And this one is really, really cool because it comes with these kind of like top secret like cards from the film. It says to be opened only when the go code is received. And so it includes some dossiers, which is really cool, and then includes like a 60s like little mini magazine. So it's really, really cool. I actually need to read the dossier at some point. And then there's like a little booklet in there. I'm not sure what that one is, but that is my Criterion Collection Blu-ray of Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I did not expect to open that up all the way. I probably shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Doctor Strangelove. Fantastic comedy. I refuse to call it what it says right here because this film is actually called Edge of Tomorrow. I'm not calling it that, but Edge of Tomorrow I think is a great little spin on the Groundhog Day concept. It features great performance from Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. It's also really funny. It's definitely like a sci-fi war type film, but it's also really funny. And it utilizes, like I said, that whole Groundhog Day concept in a really comedic way, in a really fun way. So Edge of Tomorrow, not this. I'm not calling it that. Edge of Tomorrow is a great film. And if you're a fan of action thrillers, it's worth checking out. Eighth Grade. This is the the writing and directing debut of Bo Burnham, one of my favorite stand-up comedians. I think this is a great film, just touching on like anxiety in especially like a young person's life, but I think it's a film that is important for everybody to watch. It's a great coming of age film with a great performance from Elsie Fisher. This was one of my favorites from 2018 when this came out, and this one's available on Amazon Prime for free if you have it. So get a free trial and watch some of these movies on Amazon Prime. Ex Machina, I think, is a great sci-fi film. Another one from A24, like 8th Grade was, actually, both A24 films. But this one is really interesting. It is a much more thought-provoking sci-fi type film. Alex Garland directed this, and he's very well known for his very thought-provoking, slower type sci-fi films. Annihilation is another one that he did that was pretty interesting. But Ex Machina, I think, is a great film and has some great visual effects and a really great story behind it. So check out Ex Machina. I don't think I need to tell you to check out any of these films. If I'm promoting these films, then I think they're worth checking out. Yeah. Sorry, I fixed something on there. All right, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Is my favorite Wes Anderson film. I think is really, really funny. And like Adventures of Tintin, I think it appeals really well to kids. I think it appeals really well to adults as well. It's just a great family movie with some really great themes in it, and some beautiful animation that is in the stop motion style from Wes Anderson. So, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Wow, sorry. Fargo, one of my favorite Coen Brothers films. This is a Blu-ray Steelbook. I love the art on this thing. It feels like Fargo on a box. That's the back. It's absolutely great film. One of my favorite Blu-rays, honestly, that I own. And another one that I need to watch because I haven't watched it in a while. But yes, I'm a huge fan of Fargo. I love this thing. And I love the Coen Brothers, and this is just kind of like the quintessential Coen Brothers film. So, Fargo. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This is like my go-to sick day movie. Anytime that I'm sick, I watch this and I'm instantly cheered up. I love this thing. It is just so much fun. You can't not have fun with it when you're watching it. So, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Need I say more? Fight Club. Because of the first and second rules, I'm not allowed to talk about it. So, but Fight Club. It's Fight Club. I can't talk about it. Sorry. Finding Nemo. This is actually one of my newest editions. This is a 4K Steelbook that I think is really, really cool. It's got some nice like hand-drawn art, it looks like. It's really, really good. And then the back has some of the seagulls on it. But Finding Nemo is my favorite animated film of all time. And so to get this thing on 4K, I'm really excited to check it out in 4K. I imagine it's absolutely stunning. And so Finding Nemo is just a beautiful film in every way. First Man is a really great film following Neil Armstrong in the events leading up to the Apollo 11 mission. A great performance from Ryan Gosling. I think this is just a really great film. And not a lot of people saw this thing, but it's from the director of La La Land and Whiplash, two of my favorites, and we'll get to those later on because I have both of those. But First Man, I think, is a great film and that not a lot of people saw, and so I think more people should watch it. Alrighty, let's get the next. Should we try it? Oh, I'm scared. Oh boy, there's so many. There's so many to finish out this row, and I'm really scared to do this next part. Woo. Okay, we're gonna split this up. Sorry about this. This is the part that if I was filming a video, you wouldn't see. But yeah. Okay. Only one of those dropped, and it was... I know exactly where it goes, so... Not too bad. Alright, that was pretty successful, I would say. We're just going to keep these in my lap. It's a little bit easier. The Fugitive. This is a great film with Harrison Ford. It is just a classic, like, mystery type film. I need to put that up. What the heck? There we go. I think it's a great film. It's a great mystery thriller. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to possibly get into the plot of it. But The Fugitive is definitely worth a watch. Game Night. This is a film that I go back and watch a lot, and it's mainly just something that I can put on in the background and just enjoy, especially when I'm doing like homework. But what I also think is really interesting about this film is that if you really pay attention to it, I think it's really, really funny. The comedy is really smart. The writing is really good. The story is interesting. The premise is unique. And it's just an overall blast of a film. If you have not checked out Game Night, I could not recommend this film more. It is so much fun. And it really utilizes the technical aspects really well, which you don't really have to do as much, especially with like just a normal studio comedy type film. Game Night is just so much fun. The Gentleman. This is one of my favorites from this year so far. Picked it up in 4K, and it's absolutely awesome. It's a great like gangster comedy return to form for Guy Ritchie, who just did Aladdin remake, which I didn't like at all. But Gentleman is so much fun. If you're a fan of gangster comedies, this is the perfect film for you. Very very vulgar, but very, very fun. Alright, that's one water bottle down. Let's see if we can get through the other two before this thing's over. Man, we're only in G's. Okay, here we go. We're going to go a little bit faster, if that's okay, because I'm spending a lot of time on these. Here we go. Get Out. Great debut from Jordan Peele. Lots of tension. Another one that you just need to watch because it's so good. Ghostbusters. It's a classic. It's Ghostbusters. I really don't need to say more. But it's Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no ghost. Gladiator. This is another recent pickup. This is the 4K steelbook of it. I have not watched this in 4K yet, but I would imagine it's just absolutely stunning. The art is awesome at the front, and then the back is also really cool as well. But I love Gladiator. It's one of my favorite films. It's my dad's favorite film. So that's something that we both love. In Gladiator. It's just an awesome movie. There we go. Alright. Godfather Trilogy. This is the Coppola Restoration Blu-ray Trilogy pack. I've seen part 1 and part 2. I have not seen part 3 yet, unfortunately. I will at some point, but I love the first two. I think the second one is a little bit better than the first one, honestly. The first one feels like they made the first one so that they could make the second one. Like, the first one is completely necessary, but it feels like they made that in order to make part 2. Because part 2, I think, touches on a lot of really interesting things that just part 1 doesn't quite touch on, especially within Vito Corleone's character. In relation to Michael's character. So, The Godfather, I love these films. The two that I've seen at least. Godzilla, I think this is a really great adaptation. This is the 2014 film version. I think it's really, really fun. I think the action is awesome. And yeah, I think it's worth checking out. Godzilla. Goodfellas. This is one of my another one of my favorite Scorsese films. Honestly, all of Scorsese's films are basically favorites. But Goodfellas is just a classic of his. It was one that I needed to have, and it's one that I'm happy that I have. Good Will Hunting. This is just an absolutely beautiful drama with great performance from Robin Williams, who was so deserving of his Oscar. I think the writing is spectacular here from a young Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. But this film is just awesome, and it is so heartfelt, and Everybody should watch it. Everybody should watch Good Will Hunting at some point in their life. The Goonies. The Goonies is a classic, and I don't need to say anything about it because it's The Goonies, and everybody should see The Goonies. If you haven't, then what are you doing with your life? Because this film is amazing. Grand Budapest Hotel, another one of my favorites from Wes Anderson. This thing is just absolutely loaded with stars. And I think this really utilizes filmmaking to the fullest, especially cinematography and editing and nonlinear storytelling. I think it's really, really interesting. It's a lot of fun to watch, and so I big recommend for me Grand Budapest Hotel. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. This is actually my favorite MCU film. We don't have the first one on a physical copy. I have it on a digital copy, but Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is my favorite MCU film, and I could go into why. I actually might make that a video at some point, why Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is my favorite MCU film. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 for a lot of reasons that I'll go into at a later time. And I want to shout out my friend Daniel Rickman for being one of the main people to really open my eyes into why Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is so great. If you want to check out his channel, which I will just randomly plug, check out Locker Punch, all one word, here on YouTube. He does some really good videos. Okay, moving right along. Hacksaw Ridge. I think this is a great war film from Mel Gibson. A great performance from Andrew Garfield. I really like the art on the steelbook, especially on the back. I think it's just really, really good. But yeah, Hacksaw Ridge, very intense, very hard to watch, but I think it is very important, and I think is just a very solid film. Hardcore Henry. Now, this is one that people don't like as much, but I really think this is a lot of fun. I think it utilizes the like the first person style type film really, really well, with a lot of great action. It makes you feel like you're in the action. I think watching this thing on a laptop is the best way to watch it, because it feels like you're watching like a YouTube video, like somebody's GoPro footage that they put together, but it's like a full action thriller, and it's super fun, I think. So I think Hardcore Henry is worth a watch. It's on Netflix if you're interested in it. It's pretty short. It's only 90 minutes. But I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. It's very generic, but it kind of fits, because with not being able to see the main character who you're kind of acting as with the first person style, it allows you to step yourself into the story. So Hardcore Henry, I think, is a great film. I might actually watch that tonight. I don't know. I have 6 Blu-rays now over there of stuff that I could watch tonight, so we will see what I end up watching. High Anxiety, I think, is a great film. It really spoofs all of Alfred Hitchcock's stuff in a really funny way. Mel Brooks is just absolutely hilarious. I think he's a brilliant comedy director and actor. But yeah, I'm a big fan of High Anxiety. If you're a fan of Hitchcock, I think you'll also really appreciate this thing. Hobbs and Shaw is another one I picked up on 4K recently. It looks really, really nice in the 4K. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, the Fast and Furious movies are getting so ridiculous, but at this point, they're just fun, and they're ridiculous, and they're stupid. But they acknowledge that it's stupid and ridiculous, and I think this film is pretty fun. Home Alone, this is a classic Christmas movie. Besides Die Hard, this is my favorite Christmas movie. I've watched this thing so many times, and it never gets old. I laugh just as hard every single time I watch it. It is truly fantastic Christmas movie. Hot Fuzz, this is a really fun steelbook for me to have. This was in like the first wave of steelbooks, and I really like the comic book style presentation of it. I think it fits, especially Hot Fuzz, really, really well. But Hot Fuzz is such a fun film. If you have not seen it, please check it out. It is so funny. Another great one from Edgar Wright. That one. The Hurt Locker. This is one of my favorite war films of all time. It is one of the most intense films I've ever seen. But boy, is it good. I don't think it should have won Best Picture when you take into account some of the other movies that came out with this year. But I think it is definitely deserving of Best Picture. I don't think it's a bad film at all. I think it's definitely a Best Picture worthy film, but I wouldn't have personally given it that I wouldn't have given Best Picture to that film among what else got nominated, if that makes sense. I, Tonya is a really, really interesting biopic about Tonya Harding. It utilizes different perspectives in a really unique way. Utilizes editing really, really well. And I think it's just really, really interesting. So check out I, Tonya. I think I, Tonya is on Hulu. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that. So also sorry for the sudden drop, but is a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, I think it's on Hulu if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, sue me. Don't sue me. Inception. This is from the Warner Brothers Iconic Moments collection, where it just has the top and it has a quote. I'm actually about to see this, I think tomorrow, possibly. Maybe not actually, but I will see this at some point, I think next week in theaters. And it comes with like 10 minutes or an exclusive look at Tenet. So very excited to get to see this in a theater in the next few days. But I love Inception. It is just, it's one of those films that like you can't help but love. I don't think it's one of those films that you can't hate. It's so good. All right, let's check on the stream. Make sure we're doing good. Yes, we are. Yep, I think we're good. Okay. The Incredible Hulk. This is another one I just picked up recently. Just got in the mail. But I got this one in 4K. I've not had the chance to check out the 4K restoration. But I think Incredible Hulk is pretty fun. I think it gets a bit of a bad rep. I think Edward Norton, honestly, was a better Bruce Banner than Mark Ruffalo was. I wouldn't say he's the better Hulk, but I would say he's the better Bruce Banner. Indiana Jones. This is the entire collection, all 4 films in Blu-ray Steelbook. I was trying to find one that just had the first 3. I do not like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull at all, but I couldn't find a Blu-ray pack that was just Raiders, Temple, and Last Crusade, unfortunately. So had to pick that up. I think it's worth it though. I enjoy the art and I like the steelbook. Inglourious Bastards. This is my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. It is just absolutely fantastic. I don't want to say too much about it because if you haven't seen it, you need to. It is absolutely fantastic. So Inglourious Bastards, a fantastic film from Quentin Tarantino. Inside Llewyn Davis. This is my favorite Coen Brothers film. This is actually one that I'm going to get the Criterion Collection Blu-ray of at some point. It's not quite in the budget right now, but at some point I am going to get that Criterion Collection Blu-ray. It is just absolutely beautiful, and I don't need this on DVD. So yeah, Inside Llewyn Davis, a fantastic film just about art and artists in general. So The Invisible Man. This is my favorite movie of the year so far. A little bit of a spoiler for my end of the year videos, but I think that's okay. I greatly enjoyed this film. It was so suspenseful. It is just excellent. If you want to, check out my review for it, which you can find here on this channel. Alright, I'm going to scoot up a little bit. Alrighty, that's good. Alrighty, The Iron Giant. This is a classic. I think this is just a really well animated film, and just a really emotional story about the bond that a boy can have and the impact that he can have. Interstellar. This is a great one from Christopher Nolan, and one I need to get on either Blu-ray or 4K. But what is awesome about this is something that I have along with it. I actually have a IMAX film cell from an actual 70 millimeter film print. This is one of my favorite things that I own. And yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of just a pretty, it's really hard to see coming this way. It's much easier when you can like hold it up against the light, kind of like that, and look into it that way. But it's just Jessica Chastain in a classroom, and it's near the end of the film. But this is seriously one of my favorite things that I own. It's a really cool thing to have, especially as a fan of Interstellar. I think Interstellar is a really cool movie. Oscar, dude, what's up? Welcome to the live stream. Glad to see you here. Yeah, Oscar was here for my short film breakdown, and I'm very appreciative of that because it was you and my friend DeCameron. All right, next up, Iron Man. Another one that I need on Blu-ray or 4K. But this thing, the one that kicked it all off, I think it's just a fantastic film. It's a lot of fun. This thing is just a blast and so well made. Isle of Dogs is a great film from Wes Anderson. It's not the best film in my opinion, but it's a good film. I found this for cheap at Walmart a little bit after it originally came out, and so thought it was worth having. So, Isle of Dogs. Alrighty, we made it through row 2. We're officially halfway done now. So, we are going to put all these back on its respective row, and then I'll get the next ones out from the next row, and then we'll get right back into it. But if you have anything that you want to say during this time, anything you want to ask, feel free to throw it down in the chat below. Love to chat with you for a minute. Maybe take a break from all these DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks and all that jazz. So if you got something, hit me up in the chat below. I'm also gonna check Twitter real quick because supposedly we are getting footage from Mandalorian season 2 tonight. That's the rumor, is that during a basketball game tonight that they're gonna release the first footage from Mandalorian season 2, and so I'm going to see if that's out yet, and if it is, then I'm going to have it ready to watch as soon as this live stream is over. So let's see if we can find anything. Okay, apparently the game started maybe an hour ago, and yeah, okay, the game started like an hour ago. It's just a rumor. There's some rumors that it got delayed, which sucks, but you know what, it's fine. If it happens tonight, it happens tonight, and if it doesn't, yeah, cool. All right, well, let's get the next batch of films ready for the chatting, and then yeah, all right. Gotta grab these. Oh boy. Okay. Nice. There's that. And then grab these. I have so many Blu-rays. Whenever I move out, whenever that is, I have so much stuff to move. So much stuff. Alright. One more drink of water. Then we're going to get right. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where'd the cat? That scares me. Oh, there it is. Okay, one more sip of water. We're going to get right back into it. Okay. Alright. Let's do this. Let's keep this going. Let me get my phone out of my pocket. Alright. I think this is a really great horror film. I think I haven't seen the 90s miniseries. I've heard it's good, but it's cheesy. But this is like genuinely well made. This is kind of what like really got me into horror movies, because I was never like a big horror movie fan. But I saw that and I was really impressed with it, and now I love horror movies if they're done well. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Jaws. This is a classic. This is one of Spielberg's finest. It's just an iconic film at this point. I don't need to say anything else, because Jaws is just so good. Alrighty, here we go. We have the John Wick trilogy, and what exists of the John Wick franchise right now. We have John Wick 1, a great just revenge type of film. You have John Wick 2, which is a great continuation and a great world builder, with some improved action, some improved set pieces, that just make it a more interesting film. And then John Wick 3, which just takes everything and just ups it. I love all three of the John Wick films. I think they're super fun and just super action-packed. If you're a fan of action films, you need to watch these. These are so good. Oh boy, I did that backwards. There we go. Alrighty, Jojo Rabbit. This is one of my favorites from last year. First, I hate the Disney Blu-ray designs. They're so stupid. But Jojo Rabbit, I think, is a fantastic film. Roman Griffin Davis, the lead boy right there, he is just so excellent in this film. And I just love this thing. It is so funny, but also really heartfelt. Wow, sorry. It's heartfelt and just has a really great impact. My friend, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about the dumb Disney Blu-ray design. My friend did a video. My friend Daniel, who I talked about earlier, or Locker Punch here on YouTube, he did a video talking about how Disney has terrible Blu-ray designs. And it's based off of a conversation that I had with him. So check out that video on his channel. Just look up Disney and Locker Punch, and you'll probably find it pretty quickly. Alrighty, Joker. This is a 4K steelbook from Best Buy. This thing is just absolutely beautiful. I have watched this in the 4K, and I think it's just really, really good. It is just a really powerful film, I think. I'm a huge fan of Batman and the Joker and DC, and I think this is just the Joker film that I've been waiting for so long. It's just really, really, really well done, and I think is really faithful to who Joker is in the comics. So, sorry, I got a little something on my lip. Sorry. Ooh, get that out of the way. Alrighty, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I'm not the biggest fan of this film, but it's one that it's nice to have on, like if I have friends over and they just need a random fun movie to watch, or like my siblings, they need a fun kind of kid-friendly movie to watch. I think this is fun. Like I said, not a favorite of mine by any means, but it's just one to have, you know. It's a good time, I'll say that. Jurassic Park, this is one I'm embarrassed I don't have beyond a DVD, but it's what I've got. Jurassic Park's one of my all-time favorites. It's just awe-inspiring. It's so beautiful. Alrighty. This one's got two. King Kong. This is the 1933 version, and this is the 2005 version. I actually got these at the Empire State Building a couple of years ago. This is my New York souvenir, and so I still have not seen the 1933 version. I need to watch it very badly. I have seen the 2005 version. I think it's long, but I think it's good. And yeah, this one I need to watch for film history reasons. But this is my New York souvenir. I enjoy King Kong. I'm excited for the King Kong versus Godzilla movie that's coming out. Kingsman: The Secret Service. I think this is an awesome spy movie. Very violent and has a lot of great choreographed violence and action in it. But I think it's a really interesting kind of world within this film. The second one is not as good. It's why I keep knocking that. The second one I don't think is as good. That's why I don't have it. But yeah, the first one is a lot of fun. Did you see Skull Island? I did see Skull Island. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was fantastic by any means, but I thought the visual effects especially were really good. I thought the story was interesting. I don't own it, and I would be fine having it. But that's one that I could invest in. I need to rewatch it because I haven't seen it since it came out. So yeah, that's one I'd like to revisit, actually. I'm glad you brought that up because I hadn't thought about that movie in a long time. Knives Out. This is a great one that I have on 4K. This one is just so much fun. It is just a freaking blast of a film. I saw this 6 times in theaters, and I've watched it, I believe, twice since it came out. And so that doesn't tell you how much I love this thing. I love Knives Out. It was just awesome. It was so much fun. This is actually on Amazon Prime, and so check out Knives Out if you haven't already. It is just a truly fun film. La La Land. This is one of my favorites from 2016. This is actually honestly probably one of my favorites of all time at this point. I think it's a beautiful romance kind of drama musical. I'm a fan of musicals. I'm a theater kid, and so I greatly enjoy La La Land a lot. I think it just has a beautiful story. And is really an homage to classic cinema and the cinema of like the 50s and the 60s. I think it's just a great film. Life of Brian. This is a great film from Monty Python. My family has Holy Grail downstairs, but I really enjoy Life of Brian. I go back and forth between the two, which one I like more. But Life of Brian I think is absolutely hilarious. Is a great religious satire. So it'll ruffle a few feathers in the Christian community, but I think it's a lot of fun. So alrighty, keep it going. The Lighthouse. This is one of my favorites from last year. It is just an absolutely mental film, but it is a lot of fun. I think it is just a fantastic story, a fantastic environment, and just an incredible experience. You can check this one out also on Amazon Prime. Actually, I want to see real quick if this is on 4K in Amazon or on 4K on Amazon Prime, because I have a 4K TV now, and so I try to watch everything in 4K if I can, and I just wanted to see real quick if I could find it in 4K first off, and if it's available in 4K. I don't think it is. Dang it. Oh well. I love The Lighthouse. I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty, The Lion King. This is obviously one of the greatest animated films of all time. I don't think many people would disagree that it's one of the best. But this one also came with a special little film strip. Yeah, this one comes from a 35 millimeter print, so it isn't as big. But this is, if you can see it faintly, it is Simba and Rafiki on top of Pride Rock at the beginning of the film, and it's from an actual 35 millimeter print of The Lion King, and so that is another one of my favorite little film nuggets that I own. Yeah, but The Lion King is just incredible in every sense of the word. I love it. Logan, this is one of my favorite comic book movies, actually, of all time. I'm a huge fan of Wolverine. He's one of my favorite superheroes. And this film just really takes the Old Man Logan storyline that I love in the comics, and brings it to life beautifully. I think it's a great story. I think it fits the X-Men narrative really, really well. And it's just a great story. And it also comes with a black and white version of it as well, which I've watched a couple times, and I think it really fits, especially with the Western vibe that they're going for. Why do I keep bumping that? But it really fits the Western vibe of that Logan is going for. I think there's benefits to both the black and white version and the standard color version, but I think they're both worth watching. So, yeah, Logan, I love that movie. Alrighty, these are my pride and joys in this thing, and I'm so sad that these aren't Blu-rays, that they're DVDs. But I have a plan to fix that. I don't know why I didn't write that on there, but I have a plan to replacing these with Blu-rays. But this is the Lord of the Rings extended edition of the entire trilogy. It has these it's this nice book format. It's amazing. I love these things so much. But what I'm wanting to do is get Blu-ray versions of the extended editions, because the extended editions are the only ones that you want with Lord of the Rings. But I want to get Blu-ray copies of them and then just replace the DVDs in here with the Blu-rays. And so even though it'll still be like the tall kind of DVD format, because a Blu-ray is shorter than a DVD box, and a Blu-ray is much more compact than a DVD box is. But I want to just replace the physical DVDs in here with Blu-rays, and then keep them in here, because I love the book format. It fits, especially with Lord of the Rings. Coming from books, I just think it fits so well. But Lord of the Rings, those are my pride and joys. I love those. Mad Max Fury Road, I think, is a fantastic action thriller. It's one of the best action movies over the past decade. I think it's just jam-packed with energy. It's just awesome. I think it's a really interesting story as well, and just a really great world that this film inserts you in. So Mad Max Fury Road, if you're looking for an energetic action film, this is the one for you. Man of Steel. This is, I think, a really overlooked DC film. I greatly enjoy this film despite the controversy, especially with the end. I think this really is a great adaptation of Superman. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's worth watching and worth having, because I greatly enjoy Man of Steel. Marriage Story. This is a Criterion Collection Blu-ray. What's interesting about this is that this is actually a Netflix original, and so very, very few Netflix originals, and by very few I mean 3 or 4 different shows and movies have Blu-rays of the thing, especially with their movies. There's barely any, but Marriage Story is one that they added on the Criterion Collection, and this is a film that I thought was worth supporting and having, and so I'm so happy to have this on a physical copy because I love Marriage Story. It's on Netflix. Obviously, it's a Netflix original, so check this out if you haven't. It's a beautiful story. But it comes with a copy of the notes that they write each other in the film that you see at the very beginning, and it comes with a little booklet inside. But yeah, huge fan of Marriage Story, especially this Criterion Collection edition of it. Huge fan of it. Alrighty, let's get second half of this row real quick. Please don't fall. Yes. Alrighty. Nice. That worked out pretty well, I would say. After this stack, we have one more row, and then we're off to the races. I need to hurry up because I'm about to start missing the Stars game. Alrighty. Let's see how we're doing. Make sure everything is good. Everything is good. Alright. Let's keep it moving. Let's do it. I started slowing down a little bit. I'm going to try and speed up. Okay. Here we go. Alrighty, The Martian. I think this is a great sci-fi film. Matt Damon gives a great performance. It's very suspenseful. And I think it's just a genuinely good story. I've not read the book, but I know I need to, and so I will at some point. I think it's really interesting. But yes, Martian is a great film. The Matrix. This is a classic. My brother got me a 4K edition of it for Christmas last year, and it's one of my favorite things that he's gotten me. But I love The Matrix. It is a fantastic film, and having it on 4K is awesome. Mean Girls. Genuinely one of my favorite movies ever. I think this film is just absolutely hilarious, and has a really, really good story to it as well with some great themes. But man, Mean Girls, so much fun. I don't care that it's a chick flick. It is hilarious. Memento. I think this is one of Christopher Nolan's best films. One of the best uses of editing in a film. And I think the editing alone is worth checking out this movie, let alone like the actual movie itself being incredible. So Memento, fantastic film with fantastic editing. Miller's Crossing, another Coen Brothers film that I have yet to see, but I found this for super cheap at Best Buy, and so I got it, and it's been sitting on it's been sitting on my shelf for a little while. So I'll check this out at some point. But yeah, Miller's Crossing. Mission Impossible. This is 1 through 5 on Blu-ray. I couldn't find one of the packs that had 1 through 6 on it. So I just opted to getting 1 through 5, and then I'll get 6 and then the ones they make in the future at some point. But I greatly enjoy the Mission Impossible films. I'm a huge action fan, of course. Tom Cruise is brilliant in these. I really, really love Mission Impossible 1. I don't think Mission Impossible 2 is as good. Mission Impossible 3 is okay. It's decent. And then 4, 5, and 6 are just excellent films. They just keep getting better from there. But really love the Mission Impossible films as a whole. They're just really solid action films. I'm so sorry to be sitting like this. I accidentally kicked my stack. None of them fell, but they got all wonky. Molly's Game. I think this is a really, really interesting biopic. A really interesting film on the kind of like the underground like poker type world. I think it's a really interesting story and it's worth checking out. This is on Netflix, so check it out. I think it's really good. Alrighty, Mrs. Doubtfire. This is a classic with Robin Williams. He's just absolutely hilarious in this movie. And if you have not seen this, it is so much fun. I would say this is a great family movie for like older kids, so maybe like 11 or 12 and up. But man, Mrs. Doubtfire is just absolutely funny, absolutely hilarious. Alrighty, The Nice Guys. I think this is a fantastic detective comedy. It has some of the best chemistry I've ever seen in a movie with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. You wouldn't expect those two to have such great chemistry, but they do, and they just vibe off of each other so well. This film is so hilarious, and if you get a chance, check this out because it's really funny and not enough people have seen it. Nightcrawler. This is a fantastic thriller. Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors, and he gives one of my favorite performances in this film. He is just absolutely transformative, and this is a really suspenseful film, but it's really, really good. So check out Nightcrawler. I'm trying to remember. I think this one's on Netflix. I think they added this one on there, back on there not too long ago. So I could be wrong about that, but I believe Nightcrawler's on Netflix. So check that one out. Alrighty, No Country for Old Men, another one of my favorites from the Coen brothers. This one actually won Best Picture in 2008. And this is just a really, really great crime, drama, thriller, western type film. It's just, yeah, this is just awesome. I mean, I think the 4 Academy Awards that it won, which is Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor for Javier Bardem in the middle right there, and then Best Directing and Best Writing, I think those are all really worthy wins for this film. It's just absolutely incredible. Sorry, I need more water. Oh, all right. Keep it moving. We're almost there. North by Northwest. This is a great film from Alfred Hitchcock. This one, he kind of deviates from his normal, like, suspense thriller type films. This is like one of like the OG like secret agent kind of like action adventure films. But I think it's a lot of fun. This one also comes from the Warner Brothers Iconic Moments collection, like I have for Inception. But North by Northwest is a generally fun film. And I think if you're a fan of like spy movies and secret agent movies, it's worth checking out. Here we go. Now You See Me. So I am unapologetically a fan of this film. I saw this when I was like 13, and so I loved it a lot, honestly. In those early teenage years, I watched it many times. And I kind of went through a phase where I was into like doing magic tricks, and some of those magic tricks I still remember to this day. And so that's a fun little party trick that I can whip out. But I'm a fan of Now You See Me. I think it's a lot of fun. I think some of the concepts there are really interesting. So I dig it. I dig Now You See Me. I'll say it. I'm a fan. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Another great film from the Coen brothers. Also revolutionized the way color is used in film. There's a lot of post-production color correcting and color grading, and yeah, this really revolutionized the way that color is used in films and how color is used after shooting is done in film. I'm so sorry. My throat is so dry. Okay. Wow. Okay. It's 2 down. I have 1 more water bottle to go. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is another one of my favorites from last year. It's a great film from Quentin Tarantino. Really just brings the late 60s in Hollywood to life. Also, the back has this like 60s style art, which I really love. But yeah, I am a massive fan of this film. I think it's super fun. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, definitely worth checking out. Pacific Rim. This is a really fun action film. We got this one in 4K. It was super cheap. And I really enjoy the action in this one with huge like mega robots versus like interdimensional aliens. It's a fun time. I can't I can't help but admit it. The second one, not good at all, but the first one is a good time. Parasite, this year's Best Picture winner. This thing is just fantastic. I think this is actually the only foreign film that I own, and I need to change that. But Parasite is a fantastic film. This one is available to watch on Hulu, so check this one out if you have it. If you don't, get a free trial and watch Parasite. I think is a masterclass in filmmaking and storytelling, intention and pacing. It's just a great film overall, and I think it is worth checking out. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This is a great film to own, especially around the holiday season. This is like Thanksgiving. This is a Thanksgiving movie. This isn't a Christmas movie. Anyways, Steve Martin is one of my favorite comedic actors. I can't hate Steve Martin in anything. It's just against who I am. And he's just great in this, and he is great at acting across John Candy. But this is such a fun film, just about getting home to see your family. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a lot of fun. Alrighty, the Planet of the Apes trilogy. This is the new ones that came out over the past 10, 11 years. This is that trilogy on Blu-ray. I really love these films. I think they're really well done. I watched through this entire trilogy back in May, and these films still hold up. I think they're really well done. And if you've not checked them out, I highly recommend that you do. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. I am a huge fan of The Lonely Island. I love their stuff. I think they're wickedly funny. And this film of theirs is no exception. This is just awesome. It is a great documentary style satire on the music industry and honestly just pop culture in general. I think this is one of the funniest movies to come out of the 2010s as a whole. So check this one out if you get a chance, because it is so good. The Prestige. This is my favorite Christopher Nolan films. This is my favorite Christopher Nolan film. I don't know why I said that. I am starting to lose my mind. But The Prestige is my favorite Christopher Nolan film. It is just absolutely riveting. I don't want to say too much about it because it is that good of a film that I don't want to say anything about it. I just want to let people watch it and experience it for themselves. But watch The Prestige. It is incredible. Alrighty, The Princess Bride. This is a classic. This is one you just gotta have. I need to get this on Blu-ray, but Princess Bride, it's a classic. One of my favorite movies. I'm assuming from when that popped up, it was Pop Star that you're referring to, either that or The Prestige. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, yes, both of those movies are fantastic. I'm glad those are one of your favorites. The Prestige is one of my favorites of all time, and Pop Star, I wouldn't say it's like one of my all-time favorites, but I love Pop Star. It's a 5-star out of 5-star for me, but there's a lot of 5 stars that I love. So, alrighty, we got one more row of movies left to go. I need to replace these real quick. We need to do the little switch out. How long have we been live? I think it's been like an hour and a half. Yep, hour and a half. So, hopefully we can get this done before the 2-hour mark. We shall see. I have over 200 movies in my collection. I just passed 200 recently. I have a master list of all the stuff that I have. So, yeah, if I spend a minute on each one, this thing could take forever to go through. And also, another thing to mention with these is that I have a lot of movies just on digital copies, because I'll often just like go through iTunes and just find really good deals, like a $5 special, or like I just got Birds of Prey on here, and it's a 4K digital copy. This was $8, and you can't get that good of a deal on a Blu-ray or a 4K, especially with how new the film is. So there's a lot of films that I just have on digital copy and not in a physical version, even though I'm such a huge advocate for physical media. But just with some of those deals, you can't pass them up. So, but these are with my master list that I have, and with the Blu-ray collection videos that I have. These are just for physical media. I don't keep a master list of digital copies, unfortunately. But yeah, I do own a lot more movies, and I have access to a lot more movies at any given time, but a lot of them are just digital. And I'll, like, with films like Birds of Prey, I'll definitely get that on Blu-ray or 4K at some point. I love Birds of Prey. I watched it yesterday, and it's a fantastic film. And I got it a couple of days ago. It was on sale, but yeah, that's one I'll definitely get later on. But with a lot of those digital copies that I have, they either come from Blu-rays or they're just really good deals on iTunes. And I go into the iTunes sale section like twice a week, I think. And I don't always get stuff. I actually don't usually get stuff. But sometimes you just find really good deals and gotta take advantage of them. So, alrighty, let us start here. You gotta get the stuff from the bottom row, which is a little bit more fun. I can't grab those. Okay. There's that. And honestly, let's just go ahead and grab the second half of these too. Just set these up and get these ready to go. Please, don't. Okay. I caught it before it was major. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is awkward. This is the fun part of these videos. I should have set this up beforehand, but oh well. It's better, I think, to not overcomplicate things beforehand. So, okay. Yes, that is correct. Alrighty. Last row. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's just do this thing. Okay. Prisoners is a fantastic film from Denis Villeneuve, who also directed Arrival, from like way at the beginning of this thing. But this is a great mystery thriller. Another one that I don't want to say too much about just because of it being a mystery thriller. I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to give an impression of this movie, but it is incredible. Features great performances, beautiful cinematography. Yes, Prisoners, fantastic. Psycho. This is a Blu-ray steelbook of the Alfred Hitchcock classic horror film. The back has a little. We all go a little mad sometimes. And the front has like the tire and the house at the top of the hill. I am a huge fan of this film. I think this is probably my favorite Alfred Hitchcock film. It is just so electric and so suspenseful, and the plot twist at the end is just absolutely riveting, just absolutely incredible stuff. So Psycho, incredible. You can actually watch Psycho for free on the Peacock streaming service. It's the new streaming service from NBC. They have a lot of free stuff you can watch on there, especially with Alfred Hitchcock. They have 4 really great Alfred Hitchcock films. You can watch Vertigo, Psycho, Rear Window, and The Birds, all for free on Peacock. So check those 4 out for sure there. A Quiet Place. This is a great film from a couple of years ago. Another one I need on Blu-ray or 4K. But a fantastic film nonetheless. I know this is on Hulu, so check this one out if you enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's a horror film, even though it's a very easy umbrella to put it under. But sorry about that. It's definitely a thriller, for sure. So, Quiet Place, though, fantastic film. Great use of sound in that film. One of the best uses of sound I've seen. Raising Arizona is a great film from the Coen brothers. This is just Nicolas Cage in his prime, just doing some crazy stuff, but it is so much fun. Raising Arizona. Lots of fun. Rambo: First Blood. This is a great film from the 80s. Sylvester Stallone, I think, gives a really great nuanced performance in here. I think it has some great action. I think it has a really good story here, and the ending especially, I think, is really, really powerful. I have not seen any of the other Rambo films, but I greatly enjoy First Blood, so check out First Blood. Ready or Not, another one of my favorites from last year. This was one of the biggest surprises, honestly, and another victim of the Disney Blu-ray design. But Ready or Not is I think a really, really great is a really, really great thriller. And it was a big surprise. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but man, this thing was a blast. This thing was so much fun. Real Steel. This is one that I watched like when it came out when I was like 10 or 11. I don't remember how old I was. But I think it's a pretty fun film. It's kind of like Rocky for kids, essentially. Or maybe not for kids. It appeals to a younger demographic for sure. But it's like Rocky with robots is probably the best way to put it. And oh, that says that right there. I'm an idiot. It literally says, it's backwards, but it says it's Rocky with robots. I'm an idiot. But yes, it's essentially just Rocky for robots, or Rocky with robots, and I think it works. I think it's pretty fun. Come on, we can do this. Reservoir Dogs. This is one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino films. Honestly, a bit of a hot take. I think Reservoir Dogs is better than Pulp Fiction. I'll say it. I think this is just really, really suspenseful, and just absolutely action-packed. But yeah, I love Reservoir Dogs. I think it is a really, really great film. The Revenant, another one that I need on Blu-ray or 4K, but the film that got Leo his Oscar. It took him a long time to get it, but he finally got it. I think this is a great revenge film. Both Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy are just incredible in this film. Give really, really solid and really, really suspenseful performances. But it is a tough film, but it's good. Speaking of Rocky, we have Rocky starring Sylvester Stallone. This is the, I think, 1976 or Best Picture from the movies that came out in 1976. It would have been the 1977 Best Picture winner. But Rocky is a fantastic film. It is a classic. If you have not seen it, you need to, because Rocky is just super inspiring. Really, really good. The Room. I freaking love this thing. I know I talked about The Room a little bit earlier with The Disaster Artist, but I am a fan of The Room. As ridiculous as this movie is. I've seen it probably about a dozen times now. It just always makes me laugh. It always makes me smile. And when I met Tommy Wiseau, I actually also got to go to a midnight screening of this movie. And I think I think everybody needs to go to a midnight screening of The Room at some point in their lives. But before you do, you need to have seen the movie, because if you make a midnight screening of The Room your first experience with The Room, you're not going to understand it. You're going to feel very overwhelmed, and you're not going to really appreciate it. So if you're wanting to get into The Room, if you want to go to a Room midnight screening, which I highly recommend because it is just such an experience, watch the film on your own first and then go to a midnight screening, participate in all the jokes. It's a lot of fun. Tommy Wiseau is in crazy person, but I love him to death. The Room is just brilliant. It is so funny. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. This is a great film. Another great film from Edgar Wright. Just absolutely awesome in its execution. Super stylized, and I think it works for the benefit of the film. It's just awesome. It's super fun. Searching. This is a great film from a couple of years ago. And the thing with this film is that it is like all edited from the perspective of screens. And so this could be laptops, it could be phones, a desktop computer, a security camera. But it's a mystery thriller that is done all through the perspective of screens, and it benefits the film so well. It's some of the best editing that I've seen in a really long time. So check out Searching. I don't know where you can watch this. You could probably just rent this on iTunes or Amazon. But Searching is just absolutely awesome. It is a great film. So, I'm so sorry. I have the hiccups. Searching is an incredible film. 7. This is a classic thriller from the 90s from David Fincher, one of my favorite directors. This is another one from the Warner Brothers Iconic Moments collection with What's in the Box from the end of the film. I'm not going to say anything about the end because the end is easily the best part about this movie, and it's something that you just have to experience. This is one that I wish that I could watch for the first time again. The first time I watched 7, I was watching it on my bed on my laptop, and literally, so I was laying down on my bed, I had my knees propped up, and my laptop was kind of on my knees, and my screen was really tilted back, so it was like straight up, and my face, like, I'm kidding you not, was probably about as close to the pop filter as my hand, which is not far at all. That is like 6 to 8 inches right there, and my face was like this close, like just watching it, because I was so laser focused into what was happening. It really overcame me how thrilling this film was, especially that ending. But man, it is a trip of a movie. It is so good, though. It is so good. Shaun of the Dead, another fantastic film from Edgar Wright. I believe this is his first feature, if I'm not mistaken. But it is a lot of fun, a great romantic comedy with zombies. And has a lot of heart in it, honestly. But also really funny and a pretty solid, like, zombie film. So, Shaun of the Dead. Shawshank Redemption. This is a classic film, one I need to get on Blu-ray. I need to find a better, I guess, presentation of this. But yeah, Shawshank Redemption is just an absolute classic. and just a brilliant film in general. Shazam! This is a fantastic film from last year. I was a huge fan of Shazam. This is also pretty cool Blu-ray. You can see it just has the kid, and then if you look, it has grown Shazam, but it has the fun little material like that. But yeah, I think Shazam is a fantastic film. And if you're a fan of superhero movies, Shazam is one for you to check out. The Shining. This is my favorite horror movie of all time. I know people that are not a fan of The Shining, and for good reason, honestly. But I am a huge fan of The Shining. I think it is just absolutely like riveting, especially for a horror film. It just takes over you in a really, really weird way. But yeah, The Shining, I love it. All right, turn that over. Sicario. This is a great kind of like war-esque thriller. It is a really great film also that kind of highlights the war on drugs, especially along the southern border of the United States, bordering Mexico. But it's a really, really great film with some good action as well in it. So check out Sicario. Singing in the Rain, one of my all-time favorites. This is my favorite musical of all time. And I would just say Singing in the Rain is, I think, the most charming movie ever made. It is just so joyful. It just fills you with joy. You can't watch this movie and not smile. That's all I'm saying. Hold on. Yeah, not too bad at all. Silver Linings Playbook. This is a great romantic comedy drama film. I think that's the best way to put it, but it has really great performances, a absolutely fantastic story. Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence are just perfect for each other in this film, and it's just a really, really great story. So check out Silver Linings Playbook. I think it is just a wonderful film. Snowpiercer. This is a great film from Bong Joon-ho, which is also he's the one that did Parasite. This is the one that he did back in 2014. I think this is a really great film. It's a great sci-fi type film. It creates a really interesting environment. This one's on Netflix, so check out Snowpiercer. I found this one for like $5, so I found it for cheap. Alrighty, this is the Blu-ray that frustrates me the most. It is one of my all-time favorite movies, but it is like one of my least favorite presentations of the film. But this is The Social Network. It has the tagline, "You don't get to 500 million friends without making a few enemies." But I love The Social Network. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 10. But I hate this Blu-ray so much. It's just black. Now this is great. This is great, but I don't like how it kind of like slides in and out of place. And so it's just frustrating. Like, I need to have this case, but I want to have like this art on this, and like the back is really cool too, and it had, but it's frustrating. But I love The Social Network. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So, Social Network, fantastic. Also on Netflix, check it out. It's so good. Speed. This is a great action thriller from the 90s with Keanu Reeves. This is one that is just absolutely fantastic. It never stops once it starts. And there's a lot of tension in that film, and it works really, really well. So check out Speed. Split. This is a great film from M. Night Shyamalan. James McAvoy gives, I think, the performance of a lifetime in this film, juggling all these different personalities. yeah, this thing is really, really good. A great thriller film. Yeah, Split, fantastic. Alrighty, we're on the last stack. We got this. I need water. Where's my water? Did I finish all my water? I didn't. There it is. I'm an idiot. Okay, we have 5 minutes until we hit the 2-hour mark, I believe. Okay, we have 3 minutes. Oh well. I'm gonna go through these as fast as I can, because I am starting to get a little tired, and I want to watch hockey. So, here we go. Let's see if we can't get through these in 7 minutes. You think we can do that? I think we can. Here we go. Go. Alrighty, Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, one of my favorite movies from 2018, is just fantastic Spider-Man movie. I think it embodies Spider-Man really, really well. And it's just like, it's a comic book in a movie. It's so good. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. This is the only one that I have for myself. But this is the Blu-ray Steelbook. I really like the design with the first off the Death Troopers and then the normal Stormtroopers. But Rogue One I think is a fantastic film. Not only is it a great like Star Wars movie, and just a really fun blockbuster, but I think it's a great war movie as well. It really like shows true to life the consequences of war and the death that comes from it. So Rogue One, fantastic war movie. Super 8, this is a great film from J.J. Abrams and Steven Spielberg. It captures the magic of both of their directing styles. Steven Spielberg, you can definitely feel his touches with like E.T. and Close Encounters. You can feel those influences in here. And J.J. Abrams, I think, writes and directs this really, really well. So Super 8, I think, is definitely worth a watch. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, another one of my all-time favorite movies. The extended edition obviously is the best, and this one includes the extended edition. But yeah, T2 is just incredible. I enjoy the first one, but the second one is just on another level. So good. The Thing, this is a great horror thriller from John Carpenter, one of the masters of horror films. Yeah, The Thing is just excellent. Kurt Russell gives a great performance in it. And a really just a great film that has a really great environment that supports the film really, really well. Thor Ragnarok, this is not my favorite MCU film, but it's a really fun one, and it's one that I thought was worth having. Yeah, and it's the Thor Ragnarok is a lot of fun. I think the biggest problem with Thor Ragnarok is that it often sacrifices the story for comedy, and I don't like that. I don't like it when story is sacrificed for jokes. But Thor Ragnarok is a really, really fun time. I think it's really, really funny. So, yeah, Thor Ragnarok. Top Gun, one of my all-time favorite 80s movies. This thing is just a total blast, and this is among the the newest Blu-ray re-release that they had not too long ago, and I really like the art, and I watched it in Blu-ray, and it looks really, really nice. So Top Gun, just absolutely fun, absolutely fantastic. The Town, this is a great action thriller with Ben Affleck, John Hamm, Jeremy Renner. This is just a really, really great film. This one's also available to watch on Netflix, and check it out. Now, mine has the extended cut. Netflix does not have the extended cut, but The Town is a great action thriller, so check it out. Come on, so close. Toy Story 4, this is a 4K steelbook. I got this for like $15. It was on sale at Best Buy when I got it. I don't like the art as much. I don't like the cover art. I wish they had just put like a simple Toy Story 4 logo right here. But I think I like the simplicity of it. And I still have yet to watch this in 4K. But I will soon. And I'm excited to see how it looks in 4K, because I can imagine it's absolutely stunning. Transformers, as I said earlier, I am a huge Transformers fan, at least of the first one. I think this film is genuinely great. I saw this in theaters when I was 7. I grew up playing with Transformers, so I have a very special connection with Transformers. Without that movie, I would not love movies as much as I do, or in the way that I do now. So Transformers is a really special film to me. I love Transformers so much. It's so much fun. Tropic Thunder. This is the unrated director's cut of it, which I actually haven't watched this version of it. I watched the theatrical version when that was on Netflix a couple of years ago. But Tropic Thunder is a lot of fun. It is really, really funny and a great satire on the film industry. True Grit. I think this is the I don't know why I said I think. This is the 2010 remake of it from the Coen brothers, and I think it's a really, really great I can't think. This is a great remake of it. I'm a fan of the 60s version with John Wayne, but I kind of prefer this one. I think the filmmaking of it is a huge improvement. I wouldn't say John Wayne. I wouldn't say Jeff Bridges was better than John Wayne, but they both bring their own they bring their own style to the character Rooster Cogburn, and they both I think fit pretty well. So, yeah, True Grit 2010 version. Unbreakable, another great film from M. Night Shyamalan. This is I think a really great superhero movie. It's a little bit darker than a superhero film normally would be, and it touches on some really, really interesting themes. The ending, I think, is just awesome. Yeah, check out Unbreakable if you haven't, because it's so, so good. Uncut Gems. This is a great film from last year. Adam Sandler gave an unironically fantastic performance. And this is just so suspenseful and so anxiety-inducing, but it fits so well. Another one that I just think the ending works so well for this film. Yeah, Uncut Gems is also available to watch on Netflix. It is very, very vulgar, but Uncut Gems is a fantastic film, and it's worth checking out. Upgrade. This is a great action thriller. Really utilizes the camera really, really well. The action is just absolutely awesome. And it has a really, really interesting story. This flew under the radar for a lot of people, so I highly recommend that you check out Upgrade when you get a chance, especially if you're a fan of action thrillers. Us. This is a great horror film from last year, a great follow-up to Get Out, from Jordan Peele. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about this thing because I don't like I said, for other movies, I don't want to fill you with, I don't want to give you some preconceived notion of what to think or what to expect out of this film. But this is a film that I think everybody should experience, especially if you're a fan of horror movies. But Us is excellent. Come on, we're so close. V for Vendetta. This is one of my favorite comic book movies. Features a great performance from Hugo Weaving, a great performance from Natalie Portman, and a really, really great social commentary that, despite this film being made in 2005, is still relevant today. So, V for Vendetta. Vertigo, another fantastic classic from the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. Also available to watch on the Peacock app, like I said earlier. I'm not sponsored by Peacock, but I think this is a genuinely great film, very suspenseful, and has one of the most shocking endings of all time. It is so unconventional, but it fits so well. I remember being so frustrated by the ending of that film when I first watched it, and the second that I stopped to think about it for a little bit, I loved it instantly. So it is a crazy ending, and it will leave you with a feeling. But I don't want to say anything about it if you haven't watched it. But check it out. It's free on Peacock.com or on the Peacock app. It's really good. Okay, come on. This is literally all we have. There's not much left. All right, let's do it. Whiplash. This is one of my favorites of all time. This is my top 3, and this is a Blu-ray steelbook. Very simple. You can see a little bit of the blood at the bottom. That is on there, but fantastic film. It's just incredible, just incredible. I'm at a loss for words every time I try to talk about it. Alrighty, The Wolverine. I don't think this one is as bad as people say. I think the first 2 acts are really, really good. And then the third act kind of goes off the rails and kind of ruins it. But I think those first 2 acts are insanely good. And it's worth watching, I think, for those first 2 acts. I think it sets up Logan really, really well. So, yeah, it's a great film. Won't You Be My Neighbor, a fantastic documentary about Mr. Rogers. Yeah, check this one out if you get a chance. I think this one's also on Peacock. Check it out. Everybody needs to watch the documentary. It is just incredible. The World's End, another one of my all-time favorite movies. This is my favorite Edgar Wright film, which is not as popular of a choice, but I'm just a massive fan of this film. I think it is so fun. I think the comedy works, the action works, and yeah, it's just a great time. And there's a surprising amount of depth to all the characters and the story. It just works so well. So, World's End, fantastic stuff. Alrighty, X-Men First Class and then X-Men Days of Future Past. I don't own any of the other X-Men movies besides the Wolverine and Logan and Deadpool. But in terms of like actual X-Men movies, these are the only 2 that I have, and they're 2 of my favorites. First Class, I think, does a great job of kind of revitalizing the franchise after a disappointing X-Men The Last Stand and then X-Men Origins Wolverine. I think it does a great job revitalizing the X-Men franchise with new actors, and seeing the characters that we're familiar with in a new way. I really enjoyed that. And then X-Men Days of Future Past, I think, did a great job bringing what had been established in the earlier X-Men films, and then taking what they did with First Class and bringing those 2 together and telling a really, really fascinating story that revolved around time travel, which is always difficult, but they made it work. X-Men Days of Future Past, I think, pulled off exactly what they needed to have a really, really fantastic story for X-Men. Yesterday, this is a great film from last year. Not like my favorite film from last year in like my top 10 or anything, but I think it's a great feel-good movie. If you're a fan of the Beatles, this is a must-watch. But the main guy, Himesh Patel, is just really, really good in this film. Lily James is also in it, and she's really great in it as well. It's just a great feel-good movie. If you're a fan of the Beatles, you need to watch it. If you just need a great movie to smile and enjoy yourself for 2 hours, this is a great film for you. Young Frankenstein, a fantastic film from Mel Brooks. A great spoof off of like classic monster movies, especially like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, stuff like that. But Young Frankenstein is really, really funny. And just has another one that has a really great ending, a really great payoff for what it sets up throughout the movie. So, Young Frankenstein. And finally, our last film to talk about is Zero Dark 30. A fantastic war film directed by Catherine Bigelow, who did The Hurt Locker. This film is really, really good. A great war film that brings to light the this manhunt that it revolves around. I think it really portrays that in an honest way and in a way that is very compelling. So We did it. That is my Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K collection as of August 20th, 2020. We'll see if I want to do this in the future. This took way longer than I expected. Over 2 hours, man. I could have just watched one. I could have watched one of these movies instead of doing this. But I enjoyed myself. This was nice to actually get to update my my Blu-ray collection on YouTube, because the last one I did was over 2 years old. So it was nice to get to do this. I had the idea to do this annually, but I'm starting to feel it. So we'll see if this becomes an annual thing or not. But thank you for watching this. Thank you for joining along the live stream. Obviously, my my collection has grown significantly over the last 2 years, and so yeah, we might not do this in the future. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Yeah. I don't really have a lot else. There was a lot of good movies. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't buy movies if I don't like them. So I learned my lesson a couple of years ago. I bought the movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, thinking, like, I hadn't seen it, but I bought it. It was super cheap, and I'm very thankful for that. But I bought it assuming that I was going to love it, based off of like what I had read online, and what other people have told me. And I remember I watched it. I was so disappointed by it. I thought it was like the dumbest movie in the world. It's not bad. It is. I think it is bad. I don't think it's like the worst thing ever made, but it's definitely not the best thing ever made. But after that, I was like, I'm never buying a movie before I watch it again, just because I don't want to waste my money like I did with The Predator. I bought like a DVD of it for like $5 at Walmart, and I sold it at at the used video store that I sell everything at, and I got it probably about 75 cents for it. So wasted almost $5 on it. But so I don't buy movies before I see them. So all the movies that I buy, I think are worth getting. They're movies that I enjoy and that I think are worth supporting. So yeah, but I'm glad that you think a lot of those movies are good. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, that's all I got. All my social media is down in the description, so follow me there if you want. Yeah, that's really all I got. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends. I don't know what else should I plug. Yeah, I don't think there's a Mandalorian trailer tonight, so that's a little disappointing. But alright, yeah, that is going to do it for this live stream. Thank you for joining. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys later. Peace.